Welcome to the United Constitutional Patriots Radio Show with your host, Johnny. Today we'll be talking about the U.S. Mexico border and other issues that happened today in our nation. I will now turn the mic over to Johnny. So here's Johnny.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the United Constitutional Patriots Radio Show on YouTube. We got a lot going on, folks. First, I want to welcome everybody to the show, and I want to welcome our friends in Louisiana, TJ and Warren. I want to welcome Josh and Mary Murray, or Joshua. I want to welcome basically everybody. Matt Wall, just can't welcome. I can't remember all their names. You guys are here almost every show, and you're appreciated. But we've got some situations we're going to cover, and it's not just the border. We've got a lot going on in the state of New Mexico. 100% treason. And when you hear the actual reports of what we have report, hang on just a second, ma'am, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, my dogs were barking and I need to do something about it. Everything's going on. There's a lot going on here in New Mexico. They thought California governor was bad. Well, we got one that actually suppresses and passes and beats the corruption of what's going on in California. The American people here in the state of New Mexico have been told that they're no more than a dog, and when you'll understand that when She-Wolf relates to you what is going on that. However, I have a very special thank you to very generous donation from Mary and Josh Murray out in Tennessee. Thank you so very much. The men will help. This helps the men tremendously. You're true patriots. I know that. And I know that your heart is out here with us. I wish you could be out here with us to where you could help with some of what we're doing. But you know what? You can only do so much in life. But we're highly appreciated for your great donation. Also, the other folks that we've had some people that made some very substantial donations, and I want to thank you. It's used for the men on the border. And I'll get into that and talk about that a little later in the show, because we got a whole lot to cover, folks. You're going to get the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth on this radio show, folks. We do vetted information. A lot of our information comes from the Washington, D.C., We all have direct connections to Washington, D.C., and we are listened to by Washington, D.C., as well as a lot of other people that are listening to us from different areas, and some people streamlining with us. We need to get the word out. I am calling for the whole United States. I am calling for a I'm trying to think of the right way to word it, because it's, I guess you call it a call to arms. We need help from everybody, not just on the border now, but within our own state for what is going on. We, the people, are the ones that put people in office. A lot of stuff is found out. Well, hello, Stan Dillard. How are you doing? Old dog, you're a patriot, and you'll understand a lot of what's going on here. And I appreciate you being with us tonight, my friend. I'm going to ask first to start this whole thing off. I'm going to let She-Wolf tell you what's going on, and then we're going to have the other speakers on our team, because we got a lot to report. And if this doesn't get your attention, what's going on in this state and could go on in other states and is going on in other states, but this is worse than any state that I've heard so far, of what our governor, Lou Grisham, is pulling. So, She-Wolf, are you ready to give the reports on the tweets and stuff that we have received?
Yes, sir. I sure am. And thank you. Okay, I was scrolling through my feed, looking for intel and checking things out, and I came across, it was a news article. However, when I went to try to find it again, it was totally disappeared. But somebody did get a screenshot of it, and it was the spokesperson for our governor who said these words, and I was livid. And the article reads, "Forget it, New Mexicans. Your voice has no power. Your petitions are meaningless." So says Nora Sackett, spokeswoman for the governor. Nora Sackett, the governor's spokesperson, told AP that the silly petition was a sham effort by President Trump supporters, mostly outside the state. Petition all you want. It is how we, with capital letters and quotation marks, it is how we want it, not you, the people. Get 1 million signatures and we won't listen to you. You voted us in. Now we are here to dominate you. Those words made me so angry. And today I found another tweet that was concerning. However, I know she can't do it. It's a threat. Let me switch the page here real quick. This is not vetted. It's something that I came across. However, it is a concern of another New Mexican here. And it reads, "Has anyone heard that MLG, Michelle Lujan Grisham, is talking about using New Mexico National Guard to enforce the new gun laws, basically calling a New Mexico state of emergency to bypass counties and sheriffs? Can this be true?" So basically, she won't leave the National Guard down on the border to protect the people, but she will send them out to take our guns from us. This is out of control, and it needs to be dealt with now. We need her out of office. And, you know, the petition, obviously, they have said they're not going to honor it no matter how many signatures we have. And that was one of her staff members, or a person up there in Santa Fe, that said they're not even going to look at it. So I sent it onto the White House. Forget that, bypass them. However, this makes me very angry and very concerned. And we all need to fight this battle, because it's going to happen everywhere. New Mexico is just the start. And that's all I have, Johnny. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, folks, if that doesn't make you take it and set up and pay attention, nothing will. We're going to cover it a little bit later. We're going to have to read this whole thing again, because there's a lot of people that aren't in the room yet. But this is our main topic that we're having tonight, because now not just our borders are threatened. The people that live in the state of New Mexico have been basically told that, you know what, a dog has more rights than you do. We're going to do what we want. There's nothing you can do. I'm refusing for Miss to step down whatsoever. You cannot impeach me. I am God. And that's what she is basically saying. We need to do something about this. We the people. This doesn't just affect one state. This affects the whole damn United States, folks. How are we supposed to take this any other way? Now, I'm pretty well educated, and back in years ago, did go through law school at U of M. I have studied the Constitution, and if this isn't a blatant slap to the Constitution of the United States, I'll kiss everybody's rear end and give them 5 years or 5 months to draw a crowd. Because you know what? We're in trouble. This is where we need help. Because you know what? On the border, as everybody knows, we went down on the human wall. Had very good meeting with Border Patrol. Border Patrol's working now with us and our men 100% with no problem, and they are against Grisham. They do not respect her. They don't like her. They don't want anything to do with her, and is willing to do whatever it has to take to work with the United Constitutional Patriots to protect our borders, which we're going to get into a little bit later. David, I don't know if you're in here yet or not, but one of our men that's on the border, he comes in here and listens. I want to say hi to David. He's one of our captains, and he does a great job down there with him and his team. And the bottom line is this: we are putting our ass on the line for America, literally and physically. We are down there to protect our border. We don't have the Army. Grisham says she pulled the Army out. She's never had the Army there. Another thing that made me mad is Arkansas did send troops to the border of New Mexico. I believe the only one that could really do that would have been Trump to do it. But here's the problem. Grisham told them to leave, so they went to Texas. Grisham wants our border wide open. She wants open border, open state, anybody come in, whether it's MS-13, whether it's murders, rapists, she don't care. Oh, I think it's time to march on our capital here. Nationwide, we need your help. Support the state of New Mexico. We have been to your places supporting you folks when you needed support. We need yours now. This isn't about who's the patriot groups of who's bosses and who's not and who does this and who does that. This is about standing up for our Constitution and the rights of every American. So this is what we're looking at. So I need to know that we have the support of the American people, not just support of New Mexicans. We need to know that we can count on you when the chips are down, the same as you can count on us when the chips are down for you, because you know what? No matter what it is, United Constitutional Patriots are nationwide. I've got men in Oregon, I got men in every state there is, and they are protecting your state. I want to give a shout out, like I said, to Matt Wall. I want to give a shout out to Jeremiah Johnson and his team out there. We have a lot going, but for us to protect our country, our states, we need to stand together. What is it? Okay, I was just handed a note from one of my officers. What is this?
It's the people that help us when we broke down.
Oh, okay. The people that helped us when we broke down. I do want to give you. We had to on the trip. We did have a breakdown, and that breakdown we had people come out of the woodwork to help us, and I want to thank them. It's it's Tony, and he is in. Can't remember the name of the town. Groom. Yeah, Groom, Texas. Thank you. I appreciate you. We told you we'd give you a shout out, and we're giving a shout out to everybody that helped us. Literally. I mean, they couldn't do enough for us. And if we'd have got the help, but we're out in the middle of nowhere. little dinky one-horse town, and we lost a pulley off of our serpentine belt, and these people were there for us. And you know, the fact we were still in uniform. We just left the border. We were on our way down to pick up Bill. By the way, we do have Bill here at our headquarters, and he's already started training from Elk City. I was a little disappointed he lied to us. He said that he had a pickup load of supplies for the men on the border. Well, he lied to us. It wasn't a pickup load. It was 2 pickup loads. So now we have to make another trip down and get the rest of the stuff. He's a very good man, very much patriot, very much standing with us. So we've got 1,500 pounds of food that he literally, 1,500 pounds that he donated to the United Constitutional Patriots to help feed the men on the border. This is the kind of help we need when people step out. And you know what? I think you're blessed by God when you do this, because it's for the men that are laying their lives down and willing to die. Now, we're going back down shortly. We have teams leaving, I believe, next week. We have more teams headed back to the border, but in a different area. This time we're going to be where the wall ends, and it's totally open. If you want to know what it looks like, go to the United Constitutional Patriot Facebook page, and we have the whole video of all the way down there. And when you see what's down there, this is the most dangerous part, but down by El Paso. This is where there was a bunch of people killed here a couple of weeks ago that President Trump was talking about. This is where we have our men. I should say a portion of our men, our best of our men. This is where the Border Patrol says we are needed really bad. And if you look at that video of the human wall that we did down there, all the way up, where all the people are over top, over those hills and down on the other side with their flags. This is where they are coming through with children. They're coming through with drugs. They're coming through with weapons. This is where we're at. This is where we're going to be, a lot of them. And I'll probably be going back to one of the locations. I'm not sure which one. I wouldn't say the location for security reasons, but I'm probably going back down at the same time too. There's a lot of work we got to do down there. We need boots on the ground. We need them bad. So if you're willing to come down to Mexico and stand up for the people and help the people. These are Americans. Their lives are in danger. Our governor, we need to form a rally at Santa Fe to rally. We need a lot of people. We need organizers. We need to put this together. Let her know we're not going to be treated like animals, and we're not going to be snubbed. We are the people. She was put in there by votes, and I don't even believe that there were true votes, because now, which I believe Nuclear Warrior is going to cover, is they just found voter fraud. Damn, there's something wrong with this. I'm surprised the Democrats wouldn't do voter fraud. Only the Republicans. You know where I'm coming from, folks. So other than that, I'm going to turn this over to you, Nuclear Warrior, and I'll be back in when we get some of our other speakers done too.
Okay, Commander, thank you. Evening, ladies and gentlemen, and patriots throughout the United States. I'm going to hit first of all on a little tidbit of information that Johnny touched on a little earlier. Seems like many of the counties in New Mexico are really bucking the governor about enforcing the gun laws, the new ones that they've tried to enact. This particular county, Coy County, declares itself a Second Amendment sanctuary, and I hear tell that Socorro County has likewise joined in. New Mexico's Quake County is pushing back against the state's gun control bills by declaring itself Second Amendment sanctuary county. The Quake County Commission voted unanimously Wednesday supporting the resolution to protect its citizens' gun rights. And as far as I know, pretty much all of the counties, but maybe 4, are on board with this, and pretty much all of their sheriffs as well. They're not going to confiscate the weapons of the people. Among the bills passed pending in the state legislature that the commission is responding to is House Bill number 8, which extends required background checks to sales between private citizens. Anyone trying to privately sell a gun would first have to get it cleared through the gun shop where it was initially purchased. These transactions often relate to guns being exchanged in the online market. Well, I can see that being a necessity in some situations for handguns, but not necessarily for long guns. And all of the long guns that I have purchased in the past, I've not had to go through any of these hoops in any state that I've lived in. So that's pretty much it for New Mexico's counties and sheriffs. And the citizens need to get behind these sheriffs in these counties that are holding sanctuary county for Second Amendment rights, and give them their wholehearted support, because this is important. You need to stop this governor in her tracks. Okay, getting back to election stuff. This is from the Daily Signal, and it has been vetted. Audit finds signs of fraud in New Mexico House race. Oh, go figure. The audit of absentee ballots suggests fraud may have occurred in one of the closest House races in the country. Democrat Tories, small, squeaked by the Republican candidate in the final results in the November 6th election. On election night, Harrell declared victory in the race to represent New Mexico's 2nd Congressional District. But as more votes were counted, Tory Small secured the win. Roughly 3,500 vote victory for Small out of about 200,000 cast in the southern New Mexico district. They relied heavily on absentee ballots from Doñana County, the largest county in the district, included the Las Cruces area. So this is still ongoing, and I'm sure that the deeper they dig, the more fraud they're going to uncover, such is the case in some other states as well. So more power to them. And if they can gather up enough evidence, maybe they can overturn the election results and get the rightful winner into the State House. And I believe that's all I have at the moment. I'm still digging around for stuff, and as I find it, if the show is still on, I'll petition the commander there to drop in and share them with you. But for now, I'll turn it back to the commander.
Okay, thank you very much. You know, it's a crying shame when America has been brought to her knees. We have true Americans out there that will die for our country. True patriots. Who makes up the patriots? They're civilians. The Constitution gives you that right to defend your country, to defend your home, defend your family. The Constitution gives you the right to make choices for your families. It gives you the right to say what you want, when you want, how you want, without being ridiculed for it, but from the government. But all of this right now is at stake. The freedom to get in your car and go from one end of the country to the next if you want. The freedom to go out and jump on a boat and go fishing. But you know, they're slowly taking the freedom away from the American people. Trump's trying to give it all back. Did you know that it is against the law for you to save rainwater in a barrel? Did you know that it's against the law to raise your own garden? Literally, unless you use a certain type or certain brand of seeds, or whether it's for corn or whatever. That's dictating your life to you, folks. You may not have heard this before. You may never have heard it before. But this law has been in effect for quite some time. Oregon was one of the very first ones. Did you know that if you own land and you want to build build a pond on your land to feed your to water your cattle, you cannot, under any circumstances, make a pond.
There is no house there.
So, Chuck, you're bleeding over. Are you there, Chuck?
Yeah, I'm here. I forgot. I've got my mic open to do the cues a little bit. I'm trying to wait for her daughter to get here.
Okay, but no, I was just letting you know that you were. Anyway, this is just a couple of the things. I'm going to tell you something, folks. I've been in foreign countries where the Muslims were at. I've been there where it was communist countries. And I see how they treat the people and how and the type of rights you have. We have actually got to that situation and got to that point. We need to get out of that situation and out of that point, and the only way we're going to do it is stand together, fight together, live together, breathe together, stand shoulder to shoulder and say, I've had enough, and if necessary, take up arms to protect your constitutional rights, your family, and your freedoms. The American flag isn't flying because a bunch of wimps just wanted to stick it up there. That American flag is still flying because millions of men have died for our country over the years to keep us safe, to keep us free, to where you can say what you want, do what you want, and not have to worry. The bottom line is, we have let this happen. That's a crying shame. We have let them infiltrate the American people. I'm talking about the Democrats. Do you realize there hasn't been one shooting? One, whether it was on the schools or whether it was in the theaters, every shooting has been Democrat pushed. Every shooting has been in an area where the people have given up their arms. What is wrong with this picture? If you give up your arms, you're giving up your freedom. If you don't stand for your rights, if they come for your weapons, I would rather die for the reason of protecting my people and my country than to let some communist government formed in the United States come in and walk on us. How many of you will sit back when somebody comes for you and say, oh, go ahead and take it? It don't mean nothing to me. We have a problem. And we, the people, had better face it, stand together, and we, the people, better get behind our president and get rid of Pelosi and Schumer. We better get rid of our governor that we got here. We better get rid of that governor in California. We are America. We're not black, white, brown, blue, or green. It don't matter. We're Americans. That's what we stand for. And we stand for what's right. We stand with God. We let God guide us. Answer prayer. Talk to him. You may not hear him answering you, but by golly, he's there and he's listening. I have never been an extremely religious man, but I've always believed in my God. I've always believed that Jesus died for everybody's sins. Nobody is perfect. That's why they put erasers on pencils. But he gives you the choice. He gives you the weapons you need to stand up when you have to. He gives you what you need to be able to combat whatever the problem is. One of the strongest things you can do is prayer. But at the same time, he gives you ways to defend yourself and your family. You have these child murders, ripping babies out of women, tearing them apart, killing them, selling their parts for money, and also for food. What's wrong with this picture? You know what God says? You make war on children? You know what, folks? You better think about what's going on around you, and you better wake up. You better realize that God is angry right now. He's given us our shot at getting America back. We can either win or we can fail. Personally, I'll go down trying to win. But we want you standing shoulder to shoulder with us, whether it's on the border or whether it's getting rid of the corruption in the government. This is not a country to where we can be dictated to. This is not a country where they can take your freedom from you for just looking at somebody. They cannot take your freedom from you because you speak out. But they're going to if you let it keep going. We can put all the calls in the world out for everybody and everything. We can give you the food you need to eat. But if you don't eat it, you're going to starve to death. Which means if you don't stand up for what is right and stand up for what is yours, you're going to be buried. You better think about it. This is no joke. I'm not a preacher, but I feel like one right now. What's it take to make people wake up and see what's going on around you? Someone says, well, I can't do nothing about it. There's only one of me. You know what? That's a cop-out. Where there's one, there's two. You get one like mine with two like minds, you get three like minds. Pretty soon you've got something there. You got strength. You got something to fight with. Do your homework. Find out what the hell's going on around you. Look in your neighborhoods where you live. What's there? Who's there? What are they doing? There's a lot going on. And you folks had better open your damned eyes. Get off your asses and get down and do your job as Americans. Protect your damn country. Protect your families. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. These people coming across the border, they're not coming here to give you a kiss. They're coming here to kill you. That is not an exaggeration. Otherwise, they would be coming across the borders legally. They wouldn't be trying to come across mass, and they would not be coming across carrying their flag, chanting death to Americans and burning the American flag. The left is lying. We all know that. Today, when Trump was talking, you heard both two stupid news media people, the most dumbest I've ever heard, saying, there is no crisis on the border. There is no danger on the border. Put their ass down there on the border, let them see. Let them spend the night down there with our men. See what happens. Watch them pee down both legs and run like hell when they see 100, 150 people coming at them. That we have a team of 7 or 8 people in that one group that has to arrest these people, take them down, and hold them for the damn Border Patrol. They would have a heart attack. They would have sat back and talked their shit, but they damn sure don't have the guts to go down and video it and see what's really happening. CNN was one of them. These fake news assholes make me so mad. Well, actually, I'm sorry, folks, but I know I'm getting angry. That doesn't happen often. But I'm thinking about what's going on in our country and in our state. I'm thinking about a man that one of our men that was murdered down there, and we didn't even get a damn response from any patriot group or so-called patriot says, hey, we need to go down there, if nothing else, to fight for our man that died. That's what it's about. Standing up for yourself, standing up for your country, and saying, I've had enough. What the hell does it take to get people off of their asses and down where where we need help? Because we aren't the ones that need the help. The country needs to help. The civilians, the people that live on the border need your help. All I am is a mouthpiece to try to get help down here. I've got brave men. I got a man sitting right behind me. Been on the border. I've been on the border. Our staff in here has been on the border. We've been there, done that, seen that. We can talk about it. And then I hear these wannabe John Waynes, and all they want to do is talk shit on the internet and not do a damn thing but talk. Keyboard warriors, true patriot. Well, if that makes you a patriot, sit behind me and a keyboard warrior, buddy, you're as bad as the damn Democrats because you ain't doing shit but running your mouth. It's time for people to wake up and listen. If it takes me getting angry, which is very seldom and it's hard to do, maybe you better take a good look at yourself, look in the mirror and see if you like what you like. Reach down in your pants and grab hold and see if you're a man or what you are. Because that's exactly what it takes. It takes a man. It takes guts. And I'm challenging everybody out there that is capable, that is able to take that challenge. Because I don't think you're man enough to do it. You sat on your butt so long, making promises of having somebody six. I hate to hear that. Oh, we got your six, brother. We'll be there for you. You know? Where you at? You talk, can't walk the walk. You know? My men that serve with me in our Patriot group that go on that border, those are men. They stand for the oath that they took when they went in the military. And you know what? You don't have to be military to go down there. You don't have to have any prior. All you got to do is give me a call and say, hey, I'm willing to go down and help. What do I got to do? We'll train you. We have the training areas and the men to do it. Yeah, okay, there you go, Mary. Mary Murray put it. Are you men or mice? Well, it's too bad that people have to even categorize people. But when somebody tells you they're going to do something, if I tell someone I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, or I'm going to damn sure tell them why not. But instead, they attack you. And say, oh, you're wannabes, you're this, you're that. They find excuses not to do the job. It's about time for you people to wake up. It's about time for the people to get the word out. Say, hey, people in New Mexico need help. We are worse off now than California, and we don't have all the homeless people California does, but we've got a governor that's trying to be a dictator. Yeah, Mary, there you go. Stand up and be accounted for. You're right, Mary. You know, I love this gal. She is a great person. So the bottom line is this. If you want to do your part for your country, now's the time to do it, because, folks, this isn't like when we're fighting overseas. This is your country at stake. The same type of countries that we were fighting for to give them freedom. Now, we're going to lose our freedom if you don't respond. And if you can live with that, look at your wife and tell her how much you love her. But you're willing to sit there on your ass and say, hey, I love you, honey, but if they come after you, you're on your own. Or you look at your children and say, hey, you got a hell of a future ahead of you. You're going to end up sex trafficking. You're going to end up in some type of a camp. You're going to be brainwashed. You wouldn't want that to happen to your kids. Just sit back on your butt and keep doing it. Enough's enough, folks. With that, I'm going to turn this over. Who wants to talk? Somebody flash. Gamer or Pete, go ahead. Thank you, Pete. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to help, now I know there's a lot of you folks out there would be here in a flat second. But I know that you're not able to for physical reasons or medical reasons or whatever. But if you want to help, and start with is prayer. If you can't do anything other than pray, that's all we ask. But if you can make a donation, hang on a minute, Nuclear Warrior. If you can make a donation, please make the donation to the United Constitutional Patriots page. Just Google it. We got a PayPal on there. Make a donation there. If you
no audio.
Okay, no audio. Did we lose it?
I'm hearing you.
Okay. If you want to make a donation, jackets, socks, underclothes, dry good foods, anything you use if you went, anything that if you went camping, that's what these men need down there. They are on the border in tents, not living in motels, eating in restaurants. We take care of them. That's what the donations are for. So if you want to make a hard donation, all you got to do, send whatever you want to. Just send it to United Constitutional Patriots, care of John Horton or Mark Cheney, at Post Office Box 1334, Flora Vista, New Mexico, 87415. If you want to be boots on the ground, which is what I am yelling for, you want more information, you want to know what you can do, call me. Commander Horton, 505-334-2492. That's 505-334-2492. We are licensed in the state of New Mexico, and we are also licensed with the federal government. So this is our situation. We can only do so much, but you know, a handful of men saved Texas at the Alamo. Jim Bowie, David Crockett, Sam Houston. They made history. They died making it. But if they wouldn't have done what they did, Texas would still be a state, or still be a country of Mexico and not a state of Texas. Well, we're a handful of men down here, and I really don't want us to go down that way. But if we have to, that's what we'll do. Like I said, I've got some damn brave men, very well-trained men. They're good, they know what they're doing, and they know how to do it. None of us are perfect. We all have flaws. But the one thing you better be thinking about is your own families, our country. What happens if you don't help? With that, go ahead, Nuclear Warrior.
Thank you, Commander. Reaper posted something in the radio room here that I think really needs to be addressed. It's a little paragraph or so by Thomas Jefferson. He says, "And what country can preserve its liberties if its rulers are not warned from time to time that this people preserve the spirit of resistance? Let them take arms. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants."
Thank you. That is very, very true. Go ahead, Nuclear Warrior.
And there's more. Remember this. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and the nature's God entitle them, a decent respect for the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whatever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms of which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Now that is just an intro to the Declaration of Independence of this once great nation. Folks, we are just about there again. You probably don't realize it, but there is much happening that you're not hearing about because the deep state and the cabal own the mainstream media, and they do not want you to know the truth. You'll get the truth here. So you might want to take another good, hard look at the Declaration of Independence and also for the Constitution of 1787 and decide if you think it's worth fighting for, worth sacrificing your life and livelihood for, so that we may continue to be on the road to being another great nation again. Commander, back to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Before we go through our cues, anybody other than right now, Preacher, Chuck, anybody else have anything they want to add to this program tonight? Okay. Chuck, would you like to, whatever remarks you have or reports you have, plus do the cues, please?
Yes, sir, we can do that. Good evening, everybody. This is Chuck, or as I'm known as around here, Preacher. First of all, I wanted to comment that I enjoyed the commander's fireside chat there a while ago, if you will. Enjoyed it very much, what he had to say. And I kind of got tickled when he said, I'm not a preacher, folks, but I feel like I'm preaching. Well, what he doesn't know is for a little while there, he actually was preaching and didn't know it. So there you have it. Anyway, also, another thing I wanted to bring up here as a preface to the Qs, and I'm bringing this up as a preface to the Qs because there is a very important Q amongst those Qs that we got today that connects to this situation that I'm about to discuss. Now, as we all know, this morning, President Trump did formally announce before the news media, etc., he did formally make the announcement that he was and has called a state of emergency, a national state of emergency, but basically a state of emergency at the southern border, so that this allows him to go ahead and appropriate the necessary funds to build the wall, and number three also, so that, deep state arrests can occur and so on and so forth. And like my colleagues here said, there are a lot of things going on behind the scenes that the mainstream news media is flat refusing to report, like a sizable number of deep staters that have been incarcerated and are awaiting trial. But anyway, all this is going on. Well, first of all, I'd like you all to know that when we're talking about a state of emergency, we're not necessarily talking about a you-know-what hit the fan scenario. Now, why do I say that? Well, because before the president made his announcement this morning, and you may not have known this, but we were already under 31 states of emergency already. And when the president made his announcement this morning, he said, not only are we going to use the state of emergency that I just, the order that I just signed, but we're going to use major parts of another state of emergency that was signed by, of all people, Barack Hussein Obama, and it had to do with the drug cartels. And he says, we're going to be using major parts of that. So, so there you have it. He announced it this morning that he placed us under a state of emergency so that the border wall can be built, funds can be appropriated. But here's what happened that was so doggone interesting, and you're going to hear the cue in just a bit. But what happened I found so doggone interesting is that within a short time after that, we had another false flag. And yes, it was obviously a false flag, although not saying that nobody was shot, ladies and gentlemen, because apparently this was in Aurora, Illinois, not far from Chicago. And as many as 5 officers were wounded. I understand the shooter was taken into custody. There were others wounded, including 5 police officers. But this was indeed a false flag operation, and you're going to find out why I say that directly when I read the cues. And so we'll go to the cues. I trust everybody can still hear me. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
I'm being heard. Good. That's all I want to know. Okay. So this morning, or actually late last night, he started with Q number 2721. And Q 2721 was an image, and it was an image of the Punisher symbol. Okay, which Q likes to post that when he says things like "Now comes the pain." Okay, and then Q 2722, Q posts and he says, "No mercy, no bargaining, a traitor's justice, pain, Q." Okay. All right. Then Q 2723. There is a there is a post from Fox News indicating, can't shut the damn thing off, indicating that the DOJ held meetings on how to oust President Trump. This was going on while the president was preparing to, of course, announce his State of the Union. Okay, and then Q says truth push. Q. Okay, Q 2724. He says, "A traitor's justice, phase 3, panic in D.C., rats everywhere. For those who decide to save the taxpayers some money, there is no escaping God." Q. Q was rather bold this morning, ladies and gentlemen, or last evening and this morning. Okay, Q 2725. Okay, and this was interesting. He says, "Chatter, Bill and Hillary Clinton's public health will begin to rapidly deteriorate." Q. Read between the lines, folks. Think about it. Okay. Q 2726. I told you he was bold, folks. Now, Q 2726. This is the Q I want you to pay particular attention to, because this is the one that connects to this morning when the president announced the state of emergency, and then with an hour or so, hour or two, something to that effect, we had this false flag shooting. Okay, now listen to this. Q 2726. Q posted. This was at this was at 5 o'clock this morning, 5:11 Eastern this morning, early morning. He said, "Be alert next 10 days. False flag attempts may be carried out in an attempt to change the narrative. Negative optics. High possibility of multiple day coverage event forcing pause on news. See something, say something." Q. So you see, folks, Q team, Trump team, our wonderful president, they already knew that something was in the wind. They already knew that they were going to try this as soon as he announced the state of emergency, and sure enough, okay, Q 2727, and Anon on the Chan posted and said, "I don't think anyone is surprised. Got to be the bottom of the pit to harm another human being the way they do. Hang them high." And Q responded to that by posting a Hill.com news article. Senate passes bill to make lynching a federal crime, ? In the past, what was the punishment regarding a traitor? Okay, coincidence? Q. Yeah. Okay. Q 2728. Another Anon posted. Okay, said DOJ held meetings on how to oust President Trump. Why hours after the election did 7 people travel to an undisclosed location to hold a very private, highly secured, guarded meeting? Anons knew it beforehand. Q says, "You have more than you know. It's all there. Future proves past." Q. Okay. Then in Q 2729, we have a reposted photograph from back this last June when a missile was actually launched toward, or more than one was launched toward the president's plane when he made the trip to North Korea or on the way back. And Q says, remember the cover story for this. Helicopter, coincidence, regarding Air Force One, regarding California route to North Korea, bigger than 25th Amendment attempt to remove. The depth of this is very serious. Q. Okay, 2730. And Anon posted, he says, wife of burned amputee veteran here. We are ready. We are with you. We will continue to fight. Godspeed, Q. Q says your husband answered the call as a brave and selfless patriot. We are forever grateful for his service and service to his country. May God bless you and your family. Honor and respect, Q. Okay, Q 2731. And we want to honor all of our great veterans out there. Q 2731. Perhaps he could, okay, this was, all right. Perhaps he could not, in good conscience, see the world burn. Why, hours after the election, did 7 people travel to an undisclosed location to hold a very private, highly secured guard meeting? Why didn't Hillary Rodham Clinton give a concession speech? When was the last time a presidential candidate didn't personally give a concession speech? What happens if the border remained open and the MSM continued to brainwash? Q says, think McCabe. Number 2, interview regarding meeting regarding 25th Amendment. Think Rod Rosenstein. Wear a wire regarding attempt to entrap regarding the 25th. 2, the kill box. Accounted for. Identification remaining coming. Okay, note border open, context, same drop. Border has more importance than what is publicly disclosed. And by the way, it came out on Twitter this afternoon, folks, that Rod Rosenstein, since we got our new Attorney General, Mr. Barr, Rod Rosenstein has now announced that he will be leaving the Department of Justice come Friday, which I guess was today. It's either today or next Friday, one of the two. Okay. 2732. FoxNews.com. Michael Goodwin, Andrew McCabe is a national disgrace, and we owe him a big fat thank you. Q says, dark to light, the orders came from the highest office in the land. Q. Orders came from Obama when he was still in. All right. That was the orders to pull a coup on the president, by the way. Q2733 is this from 7 Flamingos. It reads, interesting post by U.S. Army this morning. THAAD, that's THAAD, is Terminal High Altitude Aerial Defense and Anti-Ballistic Missile System, Defense System for short, medium and intermediate range ballistic missiles. Coincidence? Okay. And the post was by the U.S. Army was, who knows what this is? There's a hint. Its abbreviation is THAAD. That was what was used apparently to knock down the missiles that were, I guess, fired at the president, because they got that same picture in that post as well. And let's see. Then Q2734, an Anon posted and said, yes, the F-15 plane Q posted February the 15th. Just a couple of days ago, Q posted a picture of a couple of planes in the air. Those planes, ladies and gentlemen, were F-15s, as in February the 15th. And Q posts here and says, F-15, national emergency today. Well, yes, we got it. Okay. All right, let's see. Q, we got 2 more to go, folks. Q2735. Okay, is a repeat of a Q post that I can't read. It's too small even when you try to blow it up. But then Q says, be prepared for more fake news disinfo claiming we stated death. Read carefully. F15, February 15, which is today, Q. And then the last one, and you're going to find this one interesting, ladies and gentlemen. This is 2736. It's all about RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Now consider some of these questions and some of this information. Why was she selected? RBG in the kill box. Why was she selected? Who appointed her? Well, William Jefferson Blythe was the one that appointed her. William Jefferson Blythe Clinton, I should say. Remember her history. Okay? Hers in the kill box. Remember her history. Reference 230-page book called Sex, Bias, and the U.S. Code, published in 1977 by the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights. Highlights. She called for the sex integration of prisons and reformatories so that conditions of imprisonment, security, and housing could be equal. She explained if the grand design of such institutions is to prepare inmates for return to society, the community as persons equipped to benefit, to return to the community, I should say, as persons equipped to benefit from the contribute to civil society, then perpetuation of single-sex institutions should be rejected. Called for the sex integration of Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts because they perpetuate stereotyped sex roles, insisting that sex integrating college fraternity and sorority chapters and replacing them with college social societies. Cast constitutional doubt on the legality of Mother's Day and Father's Day as separate holidays. Called for reducing the age of consent for sexual acts to people who are less than 12 years old. Asserted that laws against bigamous persons cohabiting with more than one woman and women cohabiting with a bigamist are unconstitutional. Objected to laws against prostitution because prostitution as a consensual act between adults is arguably within the zone of privacy protected by recent constitutional decision. Ginsburg wrote that the Mann Act, which punishes those who engage in interstate sex trafficking of women and girls, is offensive. Such acts should be considered within the zone of privacy. Demanded that we firmly reject draft or combat exemption for women, stating women must be subject to the draft if men are. But, she added, the need for affirmative action and for transition measures is particularly strong in the uniformed services. And indefatigable censor, Ginsburg listed hundreds of sexist words that must be eliminated from all statutes. Among words she found offensive were man, woman, man-made, mankind, husband, wife, mother, father, sister, brother, son, daughter, serviceman, longshoreman, postmaster, watchman, seamanship, and to man a vessel. She found those offensive, folks. Wanted he, she, him, her, his, or hers to be dropped down the memory hole. They must be replaced by he, she, her, him, and hers, his. And federal statutes must use the bad grammar of plural constructions to avoid third-person singular pronouns. Condemn the Supreme Court's ruling in Harris. Condemned the Supreme Court's ruling in Harris versus McCrae and claimed that taxpayer-funded abortion should be a constitutional right. HumanEvents.com, senators overlook radical record of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Who are the doctors currently treating RBG? What other former, current, senior political heads are they affiliated with? What off-market drugs are being provided to RBG in order to sustain minimum daily function? What is the real medical diagnosis of RBG? Who is managing her care? Who is really managing her care? The clock is ticking. Panic in D.C. Q. And those are the cues for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Back to you, John.
Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it, brother. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before I give my closing statements tonight, I want She-Wolf to read one more time what our governor said, or her spokesperson said, because this is something that I hope reaches deep in your mind to where you'll understand exactly why I've said what I have tonight. And I have no apologies for it, because I spoke from my heart, I spoke facts, I spoke the truth. So with that, She-Wolf, you want to read that one more time?
Yes, sir. Okay. This is from the spokeswoman of our wonderful governor here in New Mexico, and it reads as follows. Forget it, New Mexicans. Your voice has no power. Your petitions are meaningless. So says Nora Sackett, spokeswoman for the governor. Nora Sackett, the governor's spokesperson, told AP that the silly petition was a sham effort by President Trump supporters, mostly outside of the state. Petition all you want. It is how we, capital letters, quotation marks, it is how we want it, not you, the people. Get 1 million signatures and we won't listen to you. You voted us in, and now we're here to dominate you. And this just irritates me. It's irritated everybody in the room, more than irritated, angered to no end. And I did find another tweet that has not been confirmed yet, but I will read it to you because it is concerning. It reads, has anyone heard that MLG, and that's Michelle Lujan Grisham, our governor, is talking about using New Mexico National Guard to enforce the new gun laws, basically calling a New Mexico state of emergency to bypass counties and sheriffs. Can this be true? So basically, she will go ahead and use the National Guard to take away our guns, but she will not use the National Guard to protect we the people. This is sick. Something needs to be done, and done now. Thank you, Johnny.
And thank you, She-Wolf. Okay, I want to thank all of our staff tonight. I want to thank all of our listeners. Folks, it's imperative that we get help. Boots on the ground, financial help, supplies. These are going to be needed. These men are down there for a short time. They're down there for the duration until we get this wall up. The people of New Mexico, the citizens of New Mexico down there that have asked for our help, if we pull out before we get the wall up, then their life's going to be in danger because cartel will kill them. I've seen what cartel does. I've seen the bodies down there. I've seen the rape trees. I've seen, we've picked up ISIS ourselves coming across the border. MS-13, people with diseases. I have no problem with people coming across over here as long as they do it legal. You know, but what they're doing is not legal. And what they're doing is putting America in danger and the people in danger, are all of us. They've got diseases, they don't even know what they are, and they're trying to cover them up. And then the lie and left media, they're doing everything they can to make it sound like there's nothing going on. Hello, Matt. Welcome to the show. Glad to see you. This is what we're up against. And then on top of that, they're coming across with weapons. They have these, I've explained it for 3 months now of what we're up against. So I guess bottom line is, if you care about your country and you love your country and you want to keep your country free, it's time for you to step up and be counted. Like I said before, I know there's people that aren't able to. I know there's people that aren't able to do anything financially. For those people, all we want is your prayers. For those of you that can donate, please donate to United Constitutional Patriots on Facebook. Google it. It'll show up. We got PayPal. If you want to donate anything from camp gear to flashlight batteries to flashlights to whatever it takes, if you were camping, because that's what they're doing, is they're camping on the border, whatever it takes, please donate what you can to the United Constitutional Patriots, care of John Horton or Mark Cheney, at P.O. Box 1334, Flora Vista, New Mexico, 87415. If you want to be boots on the ground or if you want to know where you can be the best help to us, and if you want to come down, call me, Commander Horton, at 505-334-2492. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Chuck for closing prayer, and then I will make my final closing remarks. And thank you.
Lord Jesus, we come before you right now to thank you once again for another opportunity that we've had here this evening to come here and do this great work that we do here each and every day. Thank you, Lord, for this team that you have chosen, for giving us the opportunity to serve you in this way and to serve our country in this way. We certainly appreciate it. We thank you, Lord, for our great listeners here tonight who have joined us again for another show. We pray that we have informed them and done this work in a manner that be pleasing unto you in accordance with your will. We thank you, Lord, for our great president, and we ask, Lord, to continue to bless him. We ask, Lord, to continue your loving watch care over him, his family, and all those working together with him to the betterment of our country and the defeat of the deep state. We thank you, Lord, for those who stand watch. Those men and women of our military, and those who are currently standing watch on the border. We ask you to bless them, continue to watch over them, let your blood of protection be upon them, and your angels being camped around about them, standing watch over them. We ask you, Lord, to continue with us now throughout this night, into the coming days. Continue to guide us, guard us, and direct us, and draw us ever closer to one another and ever closer to thee. For we do ask it all in Jesus' holy name. Amen and amen.
Amen. And thank you, Chuck. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've got problems all over our country. We all know that. I'm not asking anybody to do anything that I haven't done or wouldn't do myself. I am not asking anyone to go out, to put yourself in any harm's way of any kind that you're not capable of dealing with, because you are putting yourself in harm's way if you're on the border. You're putting yourselves in harm's way anytime you're doing something. I don't care if it's walking across the street. But there are two things we need to concentrate right now. We have to figure out and organize. We need help organizing. We're going to organize a march on our capital here in New Mexico. And I'm reaching out to every patriot in the United States on this. Even people that are physically unable to go out of the border, do stuff, you are physically able to go to our capital here with us to make a point and a demonstration. Get more news media, get things out there. expose our governor for what she is doing and what she's been doing. You know, she hasn't been in for 60 days yet, and they're already trying to impeach her. I think that's a world record for any kind of impeachment for anybody. Yet she thinks that she is president of the United States, I guess. She thinks that being the governor gives her the right to take all of our rights from us. She doesn't. She has no rights like that. She only has the rights that we give her the right to be, and we put her there, or I didn't put her there, but the so-called Democrats put her there. And you know what? She can be voted in just as quick as she can be voted out. When she puts the American people's lives in danger and threatens them and tries to dictate their life to them, she stepped way too far. You heard what was posted on Twitter from her spokesperson. And if it didn't piss you off, nothing in this world ever will. You know, if you don't see what's going on the left, just by that statement, there's something really wrong. Time to get your heads out of the sand, folks. You know, when you see a police officer out there, thank him for what he does. Pray with him. Let him know you care. A lot of people don't like police officers. Most of the time they have a reason not to. Some people don't like them just because they represent authority. But you sure as hell are happy to see them if you're in a car accident or if someone's trying to kill you or rob you or hurt you or your family. That's what it's about, folks. When you see a soldier out there, thank them. Veterans, thank them. They put their life on the line for you. That's what they're for. You see, all soldiers, when they go in the military, they aren't just taking an oath to go in the military. They are taking an oath to lay their life on the line for you, each and every individual American in the United States of America. They're willing to die to keep you free. Well, the Patriots are the same exact thing. Most of us are veterans. Most of us have been there. Most of us had to do things we really didn't want to do, but we had to do it. It was either kill or be killed. It's that situation here, folks, on our own, in our own country, on our own land, on our own ground. And we're going to see bloodshed on our own ground if people don't wake up real fast. I want to thank all of our listeners, our donators. I want to thank God for letting us be able to reach out to you folks. I want to thank President Trump for being in our side. In fact, we've got a picture from him, and I'm very proud of it. It says, "Very proud of all of you. Great work. Keep it up." You know, it's touching when you get recognition for what you do, and someone says thank you. And when someone reaches out to you, that means a lot, because you know you're doing something if it's only one person reaches out to you to help. You know what? We're reaching out to all of you to help you. At the same time, we're asking for your help to help us. We must stand together. We must still keep our American flag flying. A lot has been sacrificed to keep that flag going. And as long as Old Glory flies, I know we're free. When you don't see that flag anymore, and we're going to be in trouble. I want to thank you, President Trump. I know that you listen to our show, and your family. I want to wish you the best. Our prayers are with you. We're with you. We stand with you. You know that, sir. I want to say thank you to all of America who do stand up for the American way of life. We're not the only patriot group in the United States. There are a lot of men from other groups that are from California to Texas. They're out there doing the same thing we're doing. And like them, they have to work off of donations. Nobody's paid. But you know what? We're there regardless if we get your help or not. But you could make it just a little bit easier on these men down there and make it easier on the families so they don't have to worry so much about them. Again, I want to thank you all. We'll see you every Monday, Friday, and Saturday normally at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. I want to say good night and God bless you. And God bless America.
Thank you for joining the United Constitutional Patriots Radio. Our next show will be on Monday, 6 p.m. Mountain, 5 p.m. Pacific. Thank you for watching our show tonight, and God bless all you Patriots.